I'm more productive than you in Vim. I'm more productive than you could ever hope to be in Vim without my help. Let's see why that is, shall we? We'll be going through my Vim configurations, my very highly productive Vim configurations. My vimrc has been finely tuned throughout my whole life. I've been using Vim since I was born, pretty much. As soon as I had my first birthday, I was gifted a ThinkPad and the Vim binary. From there, I've expanded my vimrc, removing and adding things, keeping it perfectly sized so as it not to be too bloated that it's slow, but just quick enough and just configured rightly that I can use it. It's super productive. I use Vim for everything, all my programming, all my note-taking, basically all my work. My to-do list is just a Vim text file. Every single thing, I write it in Vim. Let's go. Obviously, you configure Vim in your vimrc. I'm not here to tell you how to configure your Vim. I'm here to tell you what I have done. We want syntax to be on. This is line numero 1, syntax on. Obvious, right? We want syntax highlighting. If we have this off, it looks horrible. Syntax on. Set number. We want line numbers. Our leader key means whenever we push a button to run a custom command. So my leader key is space. So whenever I press space, it says, I now want to do a custom command. We'll get to my custom commands later. Set relative number. This actually overrides this set number one here. So I was actually lying to you before. There was some tuning I could do. Let's do the tuning now. Wow, we've already done some tuning. Being productive this video. This set relative number. If I do set no relative number, so I've got no line numbers. So if I do set number, you see the numbers in the side are the line number we are on. So if I go set relative, the numbers are now relative to my cursor position. So it's on line 7 now, but this line is 7 from where I am. So if I want to go there, I can just press 7, J. You see it's line 14. If I want to go back to the next line that we're going to review, I can press 4K. Wow, very cool, very productive. Set back up all this crap here. These three commands are where my Vim backup files are stored. This is basically when you save a file with Vim, I want it to back up that file every time I edit it in case I make a mistake or even remove it. So I always have a backup of every single file I edit that lives in temp. This means whenever I press tab, it expands to 4 spaces, as opposed to 1 tab being a tab. It means 1 tab is 4 spaces. This is useful for Python and also solves the tabs versus space argument. Sure, you get bigger file sizes, but most people, I think, most noobs, think that when you say you prefer spaces over tabs, they mean whenever you type, you do 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. That is horrible. No one does that. You press tab and it puts 4 spaces in for you. That's what we do in my Vim world. This magic command here stops auto-commenting. So like when you write code and you type // it'll type // when you press enter. You keep pressing enter and it'll put more comments in for you for no reason. I do not like that. These make splits nicer. So if I show you, so I just type split like this and it splits them correctly, right? And then you can move like this. It makes splits a bit nicer from the default. Undo file. This means that if I press U and I've just opened the file, it'll undo from the last time I had the file open. Very cool. Undo is persistent. This means here, if I'm editing YAML file or a Python file, it will put the cursor column in. This is the cursor column. You see that here? It means it's helpful for indentations, what YAML files are, and Python. They're indent-based languages. YAML's a markup language, Python's obviously a programming language, and you want this here. You can also do set cursor line, and now it puts the line in for you as well. I'm going to turn those off. Ignore case and smart case. These mean that, let's say I want to find this file type up here. I can just type file type, TYPE, and I don't need to use capitals. Otherwise I'd have to find it like that, file type. But if I type with capitals, it will only find that file. So file, it will only find that. If I type it lowercase, it will find every instance. Text wrapping options, this is just what I prefer. All these basically mean that after 79 characters, it will wrap the text, which is nice. Incremental search, very helpful. You saw it working just before. As I'm typing, it already searches and jumps around the document. So if I want to find like the relative thing, rel at, so you just see I can just type that and I'm already there. Okay, these are my leader keys, okay? So if I highlight this one here, leader, remember, is space. So if I type space NH, it will remove highlighting. Highlighting, so that's search, ink search again. You see how that's highlighted? I don't like that. I just press space NH for no highlighting. It takes the highlighting. Cool. If I space T, it will open a terminal for me. Very nice. In Vim, you can normally do that by typing term, but I do space T like this. If I press space PHP, it will lint my PHP code. So this actually runs the external PHP command -l, and then the whatever file I'm editing. Anyway, it's there in case I ever write PHP. Leader G, this invokes Goyo, which is a plugin that basically makes it nicer to write. So if I'm ever writing prod, meaning not code or a config file, I will often write Goyo. You see it takes off the line numbers, makes it look a bit nicer on the eyes for write. Space S, that turns the spell checker on and off for me. So let's just write an incorrect word. You see it said, oh, that's incorrect. So you press Z equals, and then, wow, it gives you a whole list of options. 1. It's now correct. We can undo it, but we can also go correct, spelled with 3 R's. It will probably, the first option will be correct with 2 R's. So we can go 1 Z equals, and it will automatically do it for us. There we go. Very cool. Space yank. That yanks the line into my primary X11 clipboard as opposed to my Vim clipboard. And space P will paste what's ever in my primary clipboard, which was the line before. Space SH, I have no idea what that does. Okay, I know what this does. Sometimes the Vim sort of syntax highlighting breaks. So you press space SH and that will just reset it for me. Let's talk about plugins. Obviously you can have plugins with Vim. I use software called Vim Plug, made by June Gun. Thank you. It's very popular. It's very easy to install as well. So basically, I put this magic in. And this basically means if I don't already have the Vim plug manager install it. And to install a plugin, you just call the plug begin, and then at the end you'll call plug end there, and you just put these plugins here. These are GitHub links. Any Git link in here, you don't need to put the full URL for GitHub one. Python mode gives you Python syntax highlighting it, error checking, linting, all that. Ansible mode, same thing for Ansible or YAML files. MediaWiki for MediaWiki markups. Vim color schemes, this is a very cool one that comes with lots of color schemes so you can check your own out. I quite like this one. This one, there's loads. Look, it comes with loads. It's just good to try out. Dim, but I prefer Grovbox. I've used Grovbox for years. There we go. Vim indent guides. This means if I press my leader space IG, it basically says where my tabs are. Space IG for indent guide, you see it shows where my tabs are. This is useful for... We've also got the cursor column here, by the way, look in case you didn't notice that before. Space IG, oops. Space IG turns them on, IG off. There we go, right? We have Goyo, which we showed before, which does that. We missed one. Highlighted yank. This means that whatever I yank gets highlighted. So if I want to yank one line, YY, or yank the line. If I want to yank these two, I go 3-row Y. It will show me what I've yanked. It's just, I like it. You can go like that. You can go yank in these, and it will do that. That sort of thing. It's cool. vimrc console, that will give you a REST console that you can use inside of Vim, like curl on the command line. I don't use it too much, I might want to remove it. Nerd tree, this is a good file manager for Vim. If I show it here, I can open it up here. Nerd tree. You see that's all it is. That. Very cool, right? That's all it does. You can also create new files from it and all that stuff, but whatever. We don't need to really know that, but it's useful if you're using Vim as an IDE, which I do use. Vim Terraform gives Terraform plugin, which is infrastructure as code software. Django plus Vim, extra extensions for Django, which is a Python web framework, and Vim JavaScript, which is a Vim JavaScript. And then we call plug has ended. This gets italics to work for Grovbox, so that you see my comments are in italics. Very cool. Color scheme to whatever I prefer at the time, yep. So color scheme Grovbox, please be Grovbox. Set background equals dark. Grovbox has a light version as well, which basically is like looking at the sun. So we don't do that. I think this is the default status line at the bottom, you see down here. That's what this sets basically. For gvim, I don't like having the options at the top, so I turn them off here. This says my spelling and toggles the spelling. Abbreviation, ABGT is green tick, so GT turned into green tick, basically. When I type green tick, space, it turns into green tick. There we go. Very cool. I use that for checklist. Okay, this means if I press space DT, DT. Hey guys, it's DT. It puts the date time in there. So in my notes, I use that for meaning a tag, and then I can go space DT. Hey DT. And then it will put that there. Cool! This is for the built-in Vim file browser. It removes something, whatever. No mode line is very important for security, basically meaning At the start of any Vim document, you can just put options there, and Vim will be like, oh, those are options for me to run, and it will run them, which can include like arbitrary shell commands and stuff. So I don't want to run those. This is something for Markdown syntax, basically. In Markdown, if you write hello_world like that, it will say that's an error for some reason because this underscore is not closed. Underscore in Markdown will put it in italics. So I don't want that because I write lots of underscores. And this stops py mode being idiotic, because normally in py mode, whenever you come up with an option, it will be like, there's an error here, which is good, you want it to say that, but it will put it in another window, as opposed to just in the status line at the bottom. So now it just puts errors here. Hello, like that. You see there's an error there, I hover over it and it says syntax error, undetermined string, whatever. Normally that would pop out in a separate buffer, which is horrible. That about does it for my vimrc. I probably overhyped it in the start. I've not been using it since I was a wee lad, but it's mine, I like it, I use it all the time. It's grown with me, I've removed stuff like we have done today. I hope you learned something. Please subscribe, I'd like to get monetized so I can do this full time. Thank you.